We landed on a word that means a lot to me. The word I'm talking about is intention. Standing back up after you got knocked down is an intention. 2 months off of work in the hospital, an inoperable tumor laying on my spine. And then my father, who, by the way, lived with me for the last 10 years, passes away. So what did I do? I started a podcast. There's a lot of people who've dealt with their weight, with their size, with the guilt, with the frustration, with the shame. It is the intention behind what you do that changes everything. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Big Man, Big Problems podcast. My name is Julio. I'm your host. I happened to be in my doctor's office this morning, and we had a conversation about a lot of different things, and we landed on a word that means a lot to me, maybe more than it should. Maybe it's not something we all talk about, but the word I'm talking about is intention. What I always focus on is, what is my intention with that choice? Is my intention to, for example, eat better? Is my intention to maybe exercise more? Or is my intention to aggravate somebody? Or is my intention to convince somebody of something that maybe they're struggling with that choice? But I think at the end of the day, standing back up after you got knocked down is an intention. Why are you getting back up? Why are you choosing to move forward? There's been a lot of things that's happened in your life. There's been good things, there's been bad things. But for some reason, some people will wallow in the bad and not move forward from that. You know, there's a famous movie quote from one of my favorite movies of all time, which was Rocky Balboa. I'm sure all of you, if you're anywhere near my age, you're familiar with the Rocky Balboa series. And Rocky Balboa, when his son was complaining, told him, life isn't about how hard you can get hit. It's about how hard can you take a hit and get up and keep moving forward, because that's how winning is done. I know I've talked, and maybe if my video editor here is special in her skills, I carry one tattoo, and that tattoo is on my leg, and that tattoo says, "Fall 7 times, stand up 8." So I guess that's the same thing Rocky was saying. So what's my intention with that too? My intention was to pay a little homage with the fact that it was on the TV show The Biggest Loser without directly tying it to The Biggest Loser. So it's basically a big old fat zero being squeezed into an 8 with a tape measure. So basically taking the zero, making it a slim figure 8. It was also the season I was on was season 8. And it says fall 7 times, stand up 8, because life is won by standing up one more time than you fell. So last year, I went down with a debilitating pain in my leg that we found was a neurofibroma, basically a tumor the size of my hand, intertwined with some nerves on my spine. Now, this has been bothering me for more than a decade. So here I am, 2 months off of work in the hospital, an inoperable tumor laying on my spine. And then my father, who, by the way, lived with me for the last 10 years, passes away. A lot of people might wallow in that misery. So what did I do? I started a podcast because it's my choice, my intention to move forward from what happened and make something out of it. To realize that there's a lot of people just like me out there. There's a lot of people who've dealt with their weight, with their size, with the guilt, with the frustration, with the shame for a lot of years, who've seen doctors, who've gotten a lot of advice and things from their parents, from their family, from their friends, from their work. It affects how they travel. It affects how they move. It affects how they go to restaurants. It affects every aspect of their life, but are quite frankly too afraid to talk about those issues. The only thing they get talked about is just how to lose weight. But I think you guys know that it's not as simple as what they say. It's not just taking a drug. It's not just having a surgery. It's not just reading a book or going to a trainer. It's an entire life thing. But do you actually have to do it in order to be happy? Do you have to lose all of it to be happy? Do you just have to find a way to be healthier to be happy? It is the intention behind what you do that changes everything. So, how do you put intention into your daily life? Believe it or not, everything you do in life has intention behind it. Okay. And I'll give you an example of work. So, I run a sales department. Okay. And people walk into me all the time and they say, "Hey, I have this situation." And I start to ask questions. And I explain to them the first thing you have to do to solve a problem is number one, know what the problem is. Number two, what is your intention? In other words, what's your goal? Is your goal to sell this item? Is your goal to sell this item for a certain price? And then once you understand your intention, you can develop a plan to overcome it. So you hear the word intention, and to a lot of people, it's just a word. To a lot of people, when they use the word intention, it's really questioning someone else, not necessarily question you. Something happens and you say, well, what's your intention with that? Right. But we never really look at it from a personal perspective because intention at the end of the day is really who you are. So if you know your intention is good, you're a good person. If you know your intention is to do harm, do you have to question it? So intention is much more than a word. Intention is the person. So let's say your doctor says to you, okay, it's time to go on a diet, right? So you go on a diet. But what's your intention? Is your intention to have a better life? Is your intention to make your doctor happy? Is your intention to satisfy a number on the chart that maybe wasn't great? Because that intention is going to motivate or demotivate you as you go. So, understanding your intention is extremely important, and regardless of what you go into, but especially when you decide to get dressed and go out into the world and say, this is who I am. This is the person I am. This is who I want to be. So at the end of the day, what is my intention? What's Julio's intention? What's the intention of Big Man, Big Problems podcast? Is it just to sit here and preach to you about who I am, what I've done? It's not my intention. It's what I have to go on. I don't have other people's experience to draw on. I have only my own. But in realizing that, I realize that I'm not by myself here. My intention is to reach other people like me and to talk to you about the common problems that we have on a daily basis. So you know you're not alone. So you know that there's someone else out there who's speaking of these things and it's not just you. You're not the only one struggling with what should I do about my weight. You're not the only one who's sitting on the couch knowing there's leftover pizza in the refrigerator and that's all you can think about. You're not the one who stands up, puts on a shirt, and it was a little tighter than it was the day before, and you don't know what to do about that. You're not the only one that has 15 different sizes of shirts because you never know day to day what's going to fit, what's not going to fit, how you're going to do it. You're not the only one who's struggling to get in and out of the car or up and down the stairs. Or when somebody says, hey, let's go to a baseball game, your first thought is, oh my God, I got to squeeze into one of those seats. But if we talk about it, we get better. What's the intention? The intention should always be I want to be healthy. I want to live a long life that's full and regret free. And I want to be happy. That's what the intention should always be. And that's the intention of this podcast. I'm here for you. I'm your voice. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. Please leave comments. Ask me questions. Those questions are going to be answered and talked about judgment free. That's what I'm here for. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.